Hello and welcome back to the Peculiar Place podcast.
This is the segment Two Vees in a Pod. We're your hostesses. I'm Mandii.
And I'm Jessii. We were just talking about how neither of us use our real full name. And we never call each other our real full names. So my full name is Jessica.
And I'm Amanda, obviously.
Amanda. When you were young, I used to call you that.
I don't even think you did, though.
No,
I don't
must
remember.
have.
I don't remember you ever calling me Amanda.
But I found diaries that I had when I was a kid. And like whenever I refer to you, I say Amanda.
Amanda? Really?
Yeah.
Weird.
Well, you were Amanda for the first 8 years of my life.
Do you connect with your name? Because I don't.
Like, even Mandii?
Mandii, I guess, yeah. I do, yeah. I feel like I am Mandii, but Amanda, I just don't feel like my soul is connected to Amanda.
I do feel like a Jess, but Jessica, it feels like I'm saying someone else's name.
I never knew that because you never expressed that you don't like Jessica.
No one calls me that. Like, even when I go to like a coffee shop and they're like, what's your name? I'm like, Jess.
Yeah.
I don't even tell them Jessica. I don't even use that name. And like even in school, I would sign like Jess on like everything. So.
Do you remember whenever Grandpa was mad at you, he'd go, Jessica.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
He would say all the syllables in there.
Jessica.
Yeah. I didn't get in trouble often.
That's intimidating. That's intimidating.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I have a lot of letters in my name. Well, so do you.
Jessica. Oh, syllable.
And letters.
Amanda.
Oh yeah, we both have 3 syllables.
Wow.
I don't know why, like
That was coordinated with Mom, I guess.
Yeah.
Amanda, Jessica.
Yeah, we're Amanda and Jessica. That's so weird.
This is the Amanda and Jessica show.
That's like too many words.
I swear we used to say that. This is the Amanda and Jessica show, and we used to do the taper. This is not our first podcast.
It's not.
Oh my god. Fun fact. Jess and I used to love tape recording and talking into the tape recorder and telling stories and singing and talking about things.
People probably don't even know what a tape recorder is at this point. It was like,
what do you mean? There are people who listen to this podcast who are older than us.
Yeah, but Mandii, like, this was like a tape recorder that was from like the 80s, like the late 80s. It was huge, clunky.
Yeah.
It had like these massive microphone things on the side and
Listen, now that time wasn't too long ago. Do you remember carrying CD players to school? Because I do.
Yeah. Like a Walkman.
CD players.
A Walkman.
CD players.
Yeah.
You would open it and put a CD in it.
Yeah, but the tape recorder had like actual like tapes inside of it that would go, and if you wanted to like re-say something, you'd rewind it and then say it again and record it again.
Listen, retro is in.
Yeah, it is.
My cousin used to drive one of those like punch buggies, but it was retro. It only ever played tapes. So she had like a basket of tapes. And she'd be like, you want to listen to something? Pick out a tape.
Wait, I love that.
I loved it. It was a vibe. It was yellow. The car, it was yellow, and it only played tapes. And it was a vibe.
I used to pull the stuff out of the tape.
I know you did.
It was really fun.
Yeah.
It was like this dark brown string.
Yeah.
And it would just go and go and go and go.
Yeah.
I probably destroyed a bunch of them.
How times have changed, eh?
Yeah. Well, people don't even really know what VHSs are anymore. I'm talking about like generation younger than us. Like they don't know. And do you ever see those TikToks of like a parent and like their kid being beside each other, and the person holding the camera will be like, okay, like show us what it looks like to roll down a window in a car.
Oh my
And so
God.
the adult's doing this and the kids are like just pressing a button.
Yeah.
And it's the same with like answering the phone. Like millennials and people older will do this and kids will be like pretending to pick up their iPhone, right?
Yeah.
So it's so different now.
Wow. Yeah. It's crazy when you think about all those things.
Yeah.
It's very nostalgic.
It is, yeah.
But yeah, Amanda and Jessica.
Yeah, we had a tape recorder show. I'm sure Grandma still has all of those. If we can get our hands on those, we should show them. We used to tell like stories. We'd talk about our day. We'd sing like Disney songs and stuff.
I know.
It was really cute.
So we were meant to podcast together, clearly.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about
moment.
that. I love that. Okay, so in today's podcast, we're doing some trending topics. We also have an update on Kate Middleton. We're talking about weird jobs that don't exist anymore, and these jobs are like really wild, really unhinged. Mostly from the 1800s, some from the 1600s. We're talking about the Appalachian Mountains. Still not sure if it's Appalachian or Appalachian, because I've heard both, so let us know. We're going to say Appalachians.
Both are true.
Because that's how we know to say it. A lot of legends go on in those mountains and those forests. Really creepy. Also, for Patreon, we're going to be posting our creepy or strange camping stories that we have. Mandii heard something.
A little funny. Mine's scary and funny.
And then mine, I mean, I have a bunch of just really strange things that have happened while I camp, which is like why I don't camp anymore, honestly. I'm not a big camper.
I'm curious to hear this because I love to camp.
I haven't been camping in like 10 years, I think. So anyway, that's the new Patreon clip.
More than that.
Actually, yeah, maybe like 13 years, 14 years.
Just
half my life ago.
10 years ago, I was in high school. No, I was graduating high school 10 years ago.
The last time I went was in grade 12, I think. So that was like 13 years ago.
Luke and I have been together for 8 years in June.
Oh, wow.
That's almost 10 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I was done college when we first stared dating. Like,
okay,
that's
how
I think about it.
It's been a while since I've been camping, okay? If you want to find out why, link down below to Patreon. Update, we're not doing a podcast episode next week because it is Easter.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord, literally.
He lives.
He has risen. Well, not yet. He's about to, well, he did. I just mean like around Easter.
Good Friday.
And then, anyway.
We're celebrating that he has risen.
Yes. So we're not doing a podcast that week because we have all of our Easter festivities happening, and so we can't get into the studio to do that. But if you are a patron, we are posting an exclusive episode that week, so you're not going to miss anything. Yeah. It's just a podcast is going to be skipped. But then we'll come back and we'll update you guys on all the things we missed. Okay, anyways, we're going to get into the trending topics. I think we should start with a Kate Middleton update. Many of you probably know, if you've been following, that she has just announced that she has a cancer diagnosis. She had her abdominal surgery in January, and they discovered cancerous material after they removed everything, and so she's taking precautionary cancer treatments just to make sure that everything is out, to make sure that she's okay. So that's obviously a lot, and I don't think everyone anticipated to hear that. I mean, we did have an idea that something was wrong, obviously, which is why we covered it on here. But here's the thing, ever since she's come out with that, I find the internet is kind of going after anyone who even talked about what was happening over the past 2 months with the press and the photos and the weird photoshops and the conspiracies and stuff, because now that she has cancer, people are saying, like, shame on you. Do you feel stupid now?
But why? Because they were putting out weird photos that had been edited that were fake, and there was no real news coming from them, and so people were concerned. And I feel like it was coming from a genuine place of what is going on. This is bizarre. Of course, her coming out with cancer, how awful, how terrible. Like, we feel terribly for her, like, we're praying for her, like, hope she gets better. It doesn't change the fact that the build up to that point was very bizarre.
Right.
And so people were calling it out because it was bizarre. And it wasn't about her being weird. It was about the palace, I guess, not covering, I don't know, the mystery of her weird photos and her weird, you know what I mean?
Let's put Kate aside, because from the beginning, we only showed concern for Kate. Our criticism was about the palace and their PR team. We never criticized her. In fact, we had a feeling she was just home recovering and had nothing to do with the photos at all. So let's put her aside, and we're praying for her, and we hope that she's okay, and we sympathize. Now, let's just talk about the palace, because all of this content was fed to us on social media. So we weren't like searching for it. Like, they were putting it out to the public and then saying, yes, they were doctored. We moved things around in the photo. They were admitting to all of these things, I guess, to delay talking about what happened with Kate.
How strange. Why were they doing that?
It's bizarre, which is why people talked about it. Now, here's the thing. There are extremists. There were the people saying, like, oh, she got BBL and all these crazy things. We do not condone that at all. That is insane. On this podcast, we were just talking about what happened. We do trending topics. We talk about what's in the news.
If she got BBL, she would be out flaunting it. She would be showing it off.
Well, apparently you can't, like, sit down or lie down for, like, 3 months when you have it. Seriously? You have to, like, be in a certain position. Yeah, it's, like, brutal, apparently.
Oh.
But, like, yeah, people had their crazy conspiracies, and I don't love that.
No.
We were just talking about the press-released photos that they put out there, so now that we know...
fake.
That were fake, exactly. So now that we know we're going to move on. We're going to hope that she gets good treatment and that she's all good. She has young kids, which must be so difficult because they don't really understand what's going on. So we hope everything goes well there. I mean, even Blake Lively, I don't know if you heard about what she did during the whole like the weird photos coming out and stuff. I guess to like kind of make a joke out of it, Blake Lively, and this was before the cancer diagnosis came out, she posted a photo to her Instagram that was like her sitting by her pool, and she like messed with the background and made it look silly to kind of like make fun of the fact that the palace was putting out these weird things. And so now she like came out and did this apology, and she's like, oh, now that I know she has cancer, like I feel terrible, I'm mortified with what I did and I'm sorry. And it's like, you don't have to apologize. Like anything that people were reacting to were the weird press photos. You know what I mean? If you continue after knowing her diagnosis, that's messed
the thing.
up.
There was no way of knowing.
Exactly.
I don't think anybody was going after Kate. Period. They were questioning why we were being fed these weird photos that were being altered. No one had seen her. No one had known what happened at the hospital. Like, it was all very strange. And I feel like the buildup was unnecessary for what it's end up being. And, like, why give
the PR
fake
was
photos?
unnecessary.
It was just weird. No one knew. People were wondering. People were questioning. People were talking about it. I mean, you're in the limelight. You're royal.
Exactly. People are
Nobody's
acting...
seen you. Like, there have been many strange occurrences that have happened in the royal family before.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always talked about. It's always in the news. Like, I don't think there's a reason or anything to be sorry for. It's just now that we know, it's like, okay, so why the fake photos anyway?
The whole thing is strange. I'm glad we know what's going on now, but we just wanted to kind of give an update. And obviously now that we know, we're not going to be speaking about it further because it's unnecessary to. We might be over-explaining. I don't know. I guess I just hate the quick switch that people have where they suddenly become, like, holier than thou. Like, once something comes out, they're like, well, I never said anything, and you guys must feel stupid now. You know what I mean? As if those people weren't consuming the content about the conspiracies, looking at the press photos, wondering internally or in their family what's going on. Like, don't tell me those people were just sitting there ignoring everything. Even if you're not saying what we were saying, I know you were consuming the content. You know what I mean?
It was weird.
Anyway.
That's okay.
It's okay to be confused about things.
And question them.
Exactly. Imagine if no one questioned anything and we're all just like, oh, let's take it for what it is.
Yeah.
What kind of world would that be?
Boring.
Boring?
Yeah.
Very boring. Anyway, moving on. Let's move on.
Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready to move on.
Okay, so this is actually a pretty serious topic. A documentary came out called Quiet on Set, which covers the kids that were on Nickelodeon who have now grown up, and a lot of them are talking about the abuse and the bad situations that they were put in while working on these shows, like Zoe 101, The Amanda Show, all that, iCarly, like all the like classic shows that we watched growing up.
Yeah.
I remember we used to love The Amanda Show with Amanda Bynes. Like, we would watch it all the time. We had these little, like, devices and stuff that we'd even watch it on.
The Amanda Show, all that.
Yeah. Amanda, please. Yeah, we used to love that.
Yeah.
So a lot has come out. I encourage you to go watch it. It's very thorough. It's 4 episodes. So it came out that Drake Bell was essayed by a man named Brian Peck, who was working on the set of Nickelodeon. What I find so disturbing is that all of this was kind of swept under the rug, and even when he was found out, they had a very private sort of court hearing, and it wasn't really in the news, so no one really knew that this was happening to Drake Bell. And it's creepy because there were the kids in the documentary who are now adults who said that whenever they went to Brian Peck's house, he would have this like room with this giant painting of a clown that was John Wayne Gacy. And so the kids didn't know that at first, and they would be like, oh, like, why do you have a painting of a clown? And he'd be like, this is a painting of John Wayne Gacy. Like, he painted it himself and gave it to me. And then he had like this huge stack of letters, and he had been communicating with John Wayne Gacy in jail, and they were pen pals. And so Brian Peck was like obsessed with this. By the way, John Wayne Gacy is a murderer who
Serial killer.
a serial killer who dressed as a clown. I don't know.
And he only killed like young boys.
Yeah, I don't know all the details, but I know it's brutal and it's one of the strangest cases.
I watched a documentary, I think it was on Netflix, on him, or it might have been like the John Wayne Gacy tapes or something.
Yeah.
It's super dark. One of the creepiest serial killers I've ever watched.
Yeah, and he would like paint self-portraits of himself and like
He had clown stuff all over his house.
right. So this man, he had a room that was like dedicated to John Wayne Gacy. So if that's not a creepy thing that shows you what kind of person he is.
Working with kids.
I know. It's bizarre.
I'm sorry, like background checks? Do they not have background checks of these people who are running these shows? Like,
And then it was also talking about Dan Schneider, who doesn't have any SA convictions, but people do know that he was weird with kids on set. He had like a foot fetish. I don't know if you've seen a lot of like the scenes from back then of like the kids with their feet in the air and Ariana putting her foot in her mouth and like.
But didn't he specifically pay off a bunch of like actors and people that were on the show to never speak of what they saw or witnessed or potentially, I don't know, were victim of?
Allegedly. But I don't think it was him personally. I think
it was his like team,
his company or whatever were paying people. This is alleged. We don't obviously know for sure, but I was hearing that.
I know from the Jeanette McCurdy book.
Right. They offered her $100,000.
They offered her a lot of money,
Yeah.
which she didn't take, which good for you.
And that's why she made her book, because she wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, and she was saying that they were going to people, paying them off and having them sign NDAs.
Yeah. No, I cannot believe, and I mean, like, we watched some of these shows as kids, and, like, I don't understand how we didn't notice it was so creepy. Like, there are scenes where, like, little girls are, like, pouring water all over their body and, like, getting, like, fluid shot at their face.
Because it's adult content that children would not understand.
And, like, Dan Schneider was, like, in a hot tub with Amanda Bine.
I know.
And, like, it's just so creepy. And, like, Amanda has never come out to speak about this. Now, there has been people who have found what they say is a private Twitter account that she was running 5-7 years ago.
Amanda Bynes?
Yeah, like it was a private, it's not confirmed. People think it's her.
Okay.
And she was just dishing out all of the secrets about Nickelodeon and stuff. And she even said that Brian Peck got her pregnant. This is alleged. We don't know if this is her real Twitter account, but that's what she was saying, if it was her.
Do you think that...
Sorry, not Brian Peck, Dan Schneider.
Do you think that any of this experience has anything to do with, like, how she is today? Like, childhood trauma?
Well, the light in her eyes are gone.
She's a completely different person.
She looks like
she used to be in the movies, What a Girl Wants.
Yeah, she
Sydney
used to be
White,
so...
all those, like, movies that
Yeah.
we loved. We, like, loved Amanda Bynes.
Because she was hilarious and, like, her
So
smile,
cute.
everything about her was just, it radiated, like, positivity and happiness. And
sweet.
now she seems devoid of life. Like, whenever I see videos of her,
I know.
she's, like, talking at you, but it's like she's not
Like a robot.
fully there.
Which I'm not trying to say that to be mean or anything.
No.
Like, it's obvious that she is a completely different
It's
person.
trauma.
Especially if you've grown up watching her. She is a completely different person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe it has something to do with that maybe childhood trauma. Because I remember she went
100%.
through that, like, phase, I think, like 2016 or something, where she was, like, saying that she had a microchip in her brain and her dad is, like, whatever. She was, like, going crazy on Twitter.
Well, she
like,
said she was on drugs later on, but...
I know, but, I mean, it's got to be a mental health issue. Like,
yeah, it's obviously a lot of things, because trauma, then drug use, then mental health issues. Once you combine all those, it's disastrous.
So it's honestly devastating. It's really devastating.
It's sad to see what becomes of people. I mean,
It's a lot of child actors that end up having some sort of mental illnesses or, like, substance abuse, a lot of
Yeah.
substance abuse, because maybe they were taken advantage of. I don't know, like... I think it's really sad.
It just shows you how like evil the industry can be. Like it seems like it'd be amazing to be famous and to be on sets when you're young, but then you realize that it's so much more than that in the worst way. I mean, even you, when we were kids, you would go to auditions all the time, and you even hoped to be on shows.
Oh,
and
yeah,
like,
I know.
Are you glad that didn't work out?
It's hard to know, like, because you just don't know, like, who you're going to be working with,
Yeah.
what kind of people are running the show, and, like, whatever. As a young person, it's hard because you just don't know what your life is going to look like later.
I think it's also about the parents, though, like, because some parents are just as desperate as the kids to have some sort of fame and money in the family. And I feel like they're naive and they'll just do anything. But I feel like our parents are pretty strong-headed. I mean, if I even think about us being bullied at school, like, they're right in there. So I can't see mom and dad putting up with a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're not pushovers. So I don't know if we'd be in a similar situation. I don't know.
I'm sure she has talked about it in other places. I forget what her name was, but she was on Zoe 101.
Yeah.
She did
Alexa
an interview
Nicholas or something.
Yeah. I watched her on the H3 podcast.
Yeah, me too.
And they actually watched in like some scenes where they were actually like hitting her and whatever. Like,
Yeah.
And it wasn't supposed to be like that.
Yeah.
And you could actually see her kind of like do a double take of like, what the hell? That actually hurt.
Well, yeah, and Dan Schneider gave her this weird line where she put on a shirt and she had to say, like, this one makes me look busty or something. And she said she was, like, 10. So, like, why do you have that line in the show? It's just so inappropriate.
She was put in a trailer by herself with
Britney
Britney Spears screaming at her and yelling at her, and she was just a kid, and she was so scared and put off by that she, like, threw up and, like, all this, like, how awful.
Did you hear that Britney apologized, though? And it's in her book as well. She apologizes for that.
Yeah.
So you know what happened.
I'm glad that she apologized. And I did read the apology.
Yeah.
And it did seem sincere. What's Britney Spears' little sister's name again?
Jamie Lynn.
Jamie Lynn. I don't think she ever addressed it. She never apologized, I don't think.
Well, no, because she was apparently the bully on the set.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
she was a problem on the set.
Yeah, I mean, this is all awful. Like I said, watch it. It's a really informative, and I think a lot of things need to change on set for kids going forward. They need to have like licensed therapists available. They need to have more people watching over the kids, more rules.
Oh my gosh, there's so much coming out. All this stuff about Camp Rock. They were kids in the movie that are now coming forward saying that the conditions in which that they were expected to work in were horrendous. It's supposed to be like the summer camp, right?
Yeah.
Apparently they were filming like in the middle of winter. And everything that they were wearing, the shorts, the dresses, everything, they were absolutely freezing cold. And everyone that was like filming and like the crew and everything were in jackets and like warm things. And you can actually see the last scene of like the concert or whatever, the breath, like the actual the frost
in
So, like,
summer.
it's supposed to be summer and it's like middle of winter, cold.
But even some adult sets, like, did you hear about the whole Love is Blind set? How they weren't being fed. They were only given alcohol with no water. And like all kinds of stuff. And now if you watch the new seasons, there's like food platters everywhere, water jugs.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to really show that this time people have food.
Right.
I mean, people try and cut costs. Because like think about it. If you have to hire therapists and extra people on set to watch over kids, like that's money. And that's less towards the production. Right? So like people just like, they don't care. Even getting food for all the people on set, Love is Blind, that's a huge investment. But, like, you need to do those things. Like, we're humans. We need to eat and drink and be okay mentally and be protected.
It reminds me, it goes all the way back to, like, when you're dealing with small children. Like, we should have talked about this when we did the terrible sets or toxic movie environments or whatever. But have you ever heard of, like, Shirley Temple and like what they did to her like when she was growing up?
Yeah,
like,
all the men that would like pick her up and put them on her lap.
Well, it's completely pedophilic.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. It's really disturbing to look back and watch.
Yeah.
How like sexualized she is.
Even Drew Barrymore, I know she's talked about it a lot, but she would go clubbing and drinking when she was like 7.
Yeah.
And all these men would like dance with her and like it's so weird. It's so weird.
But even the abuse, like torture abuse, like Shirley Temple, they used to like with the kids that she would be filming with when they were small children, they used to like put them in like dark black boxes when they weren't behaving and like shut them away and keep them in the box until it was like a punishment.
Yeah. That's awful.
I know that's like way back. It just goes to show that when you're dealing with kids on sets and acting, child actors and all of those things, it just seems to me that there's a lot of danger with the people that they're working with. I don't know, like when you're dealing with like adults that are strangers.
Even at schools, do you remember when like if a kid was bad in school, they'd have to go sit in a corner with a dunce hat on?
Mm-hmm.
Like they would have to sit on a stool or stand, and they'd get that big pointy, wasn't it like a big pointy?
It was humiliation.
And people would laugh, and the teacher would be like, well...
Builds character.
No, that is awful.
Builds character.
And the teachers would be like, point and laugh at him.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd have like an oversized birthday hat on his head. That's awful. Imagine your kid coming home and being like, I was in the dunce chair today. You'd laugh. Why are you laughing?
No, because she wouldn't be. But that's horrible.
What if she grows up and she's like the class clown?
Class clown is a good thing. The class clown is the funny one.
Yeah, they're funny.
People
but
wanna
they're
be
like
the class
disruptive.
clown.
Do they?
Yeah.
You want to be a class
clown? Yeah, like I always took class clown as like
I always
you're
think
the funniest one in the class.
right, but you're also like riling up the class and like disturbing the teacher.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah,
Listen,
she's gonna be the sweetest little. I can already imagine like her little book
she's,
bag.
Honestly, if she's anything like Luca and I growing up, she will definitely be disruptive in the class.
Okay.
Absolutely, she will be. And I'm going to have to deal with that because what goes around comes around.
I just remembered that teacher who took away your chair.
Yeah. So I was diagnosed with ADD and ADHD. And when you have ADHD, you can't really like sit still, especially when you're a child. You're very like fidgety and whatever. Sometimes in a way for like me to be able to focus, I have to be doing something else. Obviously growing up, I've gotten better at managing that, but as a kid, like you're just exactly who you are when you're a kid. You don't have any fronts, right?
Yeah.
So I would like rock on my chair and like tilt my chair, if that makes sense. Like I'd rock on my chair.
Yeah.
The teacher, like I think she asked me not to do it and I kept doing it, and she took away my chair for the duration of the entire day and had me stand. This was in grade 1.
That's insane, Mandii.
Grade 1. I had to stand for the entire day.
And she told mom so nonchalantly, didn't she? Wasn't she like, yeah, so I took away her chair? And mom's like, what? As if it was normal.
Yeah. That school was something. I mean, there was in grade 2, there was a teacher that pinned me against the wall and screamed in my face for something I didn't do. There was 2 Amandas. I was one of them. And there was another girl who was getting bullied by the other Amanda. She pushed me against the wall, pinned me, screamed in my face, and I was very confused. I had no idea what was going on. And then I saw the little girl run up and go, no, wrong Amanda.
Oh my god.
The teacher never apologized. She literally, like Shrek or like an ogre, like literally was like, "Ugh," and like went for the other Amanda and never like apologized to me. I swear to God,
awful.
This woman was a monster. She had me pinned up against the wall, and she was a big woman. Never apologized to me, never followed up with me. I was just trembling against the wall after, and then there was a lot of things going on at that school. I remember there was like rumors about the principal would like hit people with his belt.
Yes, and we'd be so scared to go to the principal's office.
Anyone who got called to the principal's office
would come back crying.
It was like the school rumor that anyone who went to the office to see the principal who was in trouble, he would hit them with the belt. Yeah. I think it might have been true. It was a Christian school. And
I wasn't going to say Christian. I was going to say religious, because I feel like it doesn't matter what you put in front of that. If you're in a religious school,
but that's
way too intense.
These are just, first of all, these are like real experiences. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know much about any other religious schools, but I do know even in Catholic schools, like there's a lot of like people that I went to school with that had terrifying experiences with like priests screaming at them that they're going to hell, things like that I just, with kids, like,
yeah, and
like,
I know
what that's a way of like, you're gonna turn somebody away from that religion. You're gonna turn somebody away from God if you're absolutely traumatizing them growing up.
Why a lot of people don't like religion or don't want to come back to it, or they've left it, is because they have bad experience with people.
Yes.
Because people are evil.
Yep.
And you should never associate people with Christianity or with God, because they will always disappoint you. They always have faults, and we have to learn that the hard way. So never put your trust in people.
No.
Because they're they're awful. People are corrupted.
No, we've been a part of a church that fell apart. That was a horrible experience. And it's just the same thing of like, you can't put your faith in people. You can't put your trust in people. You have to put all of that into your own relationship with God and have a connection and relationship with God, like you and him, and that's it.
Yeah.
And of course, there's beauty in community and beauty in church. People are not perfect. Everybody has their faults, some more than others. And I always say, I know this is kind of morbid, but I always say evil starts in the church, because I feel like evil things and dark things do not hide away in dark corners of the basement. I feel like they are pretending to be of the light and love, and
your
they
face.
are attracting you to them and posing as something that's supposed to be beautiful, but it's actually the opposite. So just be aware of that. And yeah, I feel bad for anyone that I went to school with that used to tell me the awful stories about like priests screaming in their faces and fear of hell and the devil, and that should not be the main focus. Like, I feel like a lot of people focus solely on the negative and the fear, and I feel like that's wrong.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be about that. It should be a wonderful feeling. It should be about love. It should be about light, happiness and joy and excitement and faith and hope, and not this negative fear, you know?
Yeah,
dark.
totally.
Anyway.
How did we even get here?
Tangents. This podcast should be called Tangents.
Tangents 101. Forget Zoe 101.
Tangents.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know how we got here. Oh, we went to school, to church.
We were talking about child actors.
Right.
Amanda Bynes.
Yeah, we do need to move on. I guess the bottom line is, do you think Amanda should come out publicly and speak about her experience and maybe why she's the way she is? I agree. A lot of people are saying, like, you know, now that the documentary is out, she's the only one who hasn't voiced, and she's not sticking up for these people.
Maybe
and saying,
she can't. Maybe she just doesn't have the capacity to come out with something so heavy like that.
Maybe she's blocked it out.
Not ready.
No, but actually, like, maybe she's just put it away somewhere deep in her mind in therapy, and we can't push that on someone.
No,
right?
Like, for what? Curiosity?
No, I've seen paparazzi following her, like, why haven't you said anything yet? And it's like, that is not the way to go about things. Because she is a victim too. So let's just...
Absolutely. That's not how you speak to a victim.
No.
That's psychotic.
And it'll make her want to do it less. So can we not go after people? It's crazy. Speaking of movies and sets, the Beetlejuice trailer just came out. Mm-hmm. Why do you not look happy about that?
No, I'm so excited.
I am so excited.
I'm excited because of Winona Ryder, and it's the original Beetlejuice, right?
It is. Oh,
that's what makes me excited.
Yeah, he is amazing.
Because if it wasn't them and it was just like a remake,
I would still watch it, but I wouldn't be as excited.
No, you gotta have the originals.
The juice is loose.
Imagine, okay, the new Mean Girls did not do well. Why? Because it didn't have the originals.
And I didn't watch that.
You gotta respect the originals.
And, like, also Tim Burton's producing it again, or directing it, and, like, we love Tim Burton.
So yeah, it's going to have all of, like, that special
feeling. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
It's also been released that Margot Robbie is making a Sims movie. I guess she's just jumping on anything, like, nostalgic right now. Like, she just did Barbie. Mm-hmm. Sims are kind of close to that. I know they're virtual, but, like, they're kind of Barbie-ish. They're things you play with, people that you manipulate. So I guess she's just grabbing on all of those. People are even saying that they're going to go through, like, most of the nostalgic items, like Gummy Bears, Polly Pockets, like, anything that was nostalgic, because...
Polly Pockets!
Beanie Babies... Bratz.
Polly Pockets? That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That's like a fever dream.
But it makes sense to, like, jump on all this stuff because people love nostalgia. I mean, if I think about when I make videos on YouTube, anytime it's a nostalgic topic, it's my best trending, most viewed videos that I make because people are just so...
Well, I feel like millennials will just eat that up.
Exactly. I never played Sims. I know about it. I've watched friends play it. Actually, no, I did play one. We had a Wii game. And it was like a deserted island. And, like, you had to, like, feed people and make sure they stayed alive.
I don't remember.
Have you ever played Sims?
No.
You never had the need?
I never wanted to. I think if I did, I would just create things in which they would all perish slowly.
Yeah, people did that. They'd put them all in the pool and remove the ladders.
Yeah.
And they would drown.
Well, do you remember Roller Coaster Tycoon?
I was just about to say that. I love that.
I would make roller coasters where they would all die.
Well, yeah, some would do, like, endless roller coasters where they couldn't get off.
No. I would make, like, a drop with no follow through. And they would just go, whoo.
And you'd hear them like screaming. They'd be like laughing, and then they'd start screaming.
Yeah.
No, there was like this thing called like Mr. Bones Wild Ride where someone made like an endless roller coaster and like people would just get on and like couldn't get off. Is there something psychologically up with people who want to do that? Because I did a whole video about people who like kill their Sims. And is that or is that just anger coming out in a form of not real people?
I think it's just you do it because you can. Is that bad?
It's kind of like, what are those thoughts called where you think about it but you don't actually want to do it?
Intrusive thoughts
Is
run
that-
rampant on Roller Coaster Tycoon.
So that's what it is then.
Okay, let me clarify. So I would never just sit there and think of evil ways of like killing the Sims. I would just like do it for a laugh, and then I would actually like put effort into my amusement park and like try and do well and make money. I would not just sit there and like kill off everybody. I would just do it maybe once a week.
Wow, okay.
Just for like entertainment.
Just for shits.
Entertainment.
Shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Are you ever just like driving on the road and you think like at any second I can just turn this steering wheel and go off?
I never thought of it until you said it once driving me somewhere, and I was like, okay, this is what you're thinking about while you're driving me somewhere.
Or if you're in a taxi or an Uber, your life is in their hands. They could do anything unhinged and you would just suffer for it.
Yeah.
So don't you think like when you get
That's
into
like most things in life though.
But that's scary because these people are strangers and you just get in the car and you're like, they could kill me.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm driving on a bridge. I'm always like, if I just turn this a little bit.
No, the bridges are, I don't like bridges. And I don't trust people driving on the bridge. I would rather drive.
But do you trust yourself?
Okay, so yes, I do. I actually trust myself the most.
So you don't have those thoughts like I could just go.
Of course I have intrusive thoughts, but I trust myself to not.
By the way, I'm okay. I just like
No,
it's
I
intrusive
think it's important
ideas.
to normalize intrusive thoughts. Everyone has them. I mean, if you're a person without intrusive thoughts, you're a psychopath.
I had to stop watching murder documentaries because I would watch them and then go to bed, and then I kept having this like OCD feeling because I have OCD, and it started forming as like, what if I sleepwalk in the middle of the night and I get a knife and kill someone in the house because I was just watching the murder documentary? And it wouldn't be me because I'd be sleeping because my brain is kind of dreaming about the documentary, and what if I like get up and walk and like go to the kitchen and grab a knife and like do something? And I would scare myself so much about that I had to stop watching them. There was this girl I used to watch on YouTube. I think her name's Kendall Ray. And she did like a ton of like murder podcasts and stuff. And she's great. But I had to mute her on YouTube because I loved watching them. But then I would go to bed and be like, what if like I sleepwalk and like do something that the person did? But like, of course I would never do that. Like, I don't sleepwalk. I've never slept walk.
The thing about intrusive thoughts are that they are thoughts and they're harmless. You are not defined by them.
Right.
Just because a thought pops into your head doesn't make it who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's important because sometimes you can be like kind of freaked out by your intrusive thoughts and you're like, why am I thinking that? I would never do that. I don't want to do that. That's what's important. You know, like if you're like chopping up a carrot and you're like, I could just chop off my finger right now.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't, and you don't want to. But you're like, but I could.
But like, I won't even like, if I had scissors by my bed because I was like, I don't know, taking tags off clothes. Before I go to bed, I'll be like, I can't have these scissors here because what if I sleep, take them and stab them in my neck or something? Like, I will literally think that sleep me will do something, which is so irrational because I have never done anything like that sleeping.
Well, I would never feel comfortable with a gun in the house. Not that I would use it, but I don't like the idea of like a gun in the house. When I think of self-protection, when I go places or whatever, like I have pepper spray and that would be like my weapon.
Yeah.
And it doesn't like mean killing somebody. It doesn't mean, you know what I mean? But it's a way of deterring them or like protecting myself, I guess. And like Luca has a bat in the bedroom in case there was a break-in. But I wouldn't be comfortable with like a knife, a gun.
Right.
That kind of thing is just too serious,
Yeah.
I feel like. That I wouldn't feel really safe using or like my partner using either.
Do you ever think that like everything is poison?
Yeah, so I actually have a really, really bad, crippling anxiety, which I've overcome a lot in the years, but the year before Luca, I used to like not be able to eat at restaurants because I used to think that everything that was on the table was poison. I thought the water was poison. I thought the food was poison. It got to a point where I literally could not even go out.
Dude, why are we the same? I am the same way. I'm scared, like, if an Uber drops off my food. I'm even scared, like...
I think about that all the time. Skip the dishes.
Yes.
I'm like, how easy would it be to, like, poison somebody's drink?
No, but Mandii, like, this is how far it goes. I have a bottle of magnesium of my pills beside my bed, and we have cleaners come to our house. Sometimes I think, like, when I'm unscrewing it to eat it, I'm like, what if one of the cleaners just put random pills in there and it's poison and they want me dead and I take it? I think everything is poison. I have to psych myself out of it, like, to be like, Jess, it's just magnesium. Like, they're not going to do that.
I have the worst case scenario always going on through my head in everyday life, but I choose to, like, overcome it because I'm like, I understand that I'm anxious. I understand that it's the worst case scenario. Such is life. If things are gonna happen, they're gonna happen, and you have no control. Like, I think I have control issues.
Yeah.
Which is why I like to drive the car. I like to plan ahead. I like to be prepared. I don't like people being late. I like people being on time. I like to show up 10 minutes early if I can. That kind of thing. Like, I don't like not being prepared.
Yeah.
So, like, I think you just have to, like, overcome. Remember there was, like, the cheese at the party, and you were like, you saw, like, a little black spot on the cheese, and you're like, oh my god, is it mold? And we looked at all the other cheeses, and we didn't see anything else, and I was like, just eat. It's fine. Everyone's here. Everyone's eating. It's gonna be fine. And then you ate, and I was so proud of you.
Well, I have a fear of anaphylaxis.
Me too. Me too. I was actually at a bridal shower yesterday, and I ate a sandwich, which I didn't know what was in it.
Yeah.
I was like, this will be the sandwich that sets me over the edge, and I realized that I'm allergic to something, and I'm going to have to go to the hospital, and I'm going to go into anaphylactic shock, and my throat's going to close up, and I'm going to get hives, and it's all going to happen at this bridal shower where I don't know anybody, and no one's going to help me, and I'm going to die.
Girl, we're the same person. I think about that all the time.
This is why we could never, like, live together.
Okay, but, like, our parents are going to be listening to this thinking, like, what did we do wrong? Because we sound insane.
They are both, listen, Dad has control issues.
Dad has OCD.
He has control issues. Everything has to be perfect.
Organized.
Everything has to be organized. Everything has to be planned.
And then Mom has anxiety.
Mom thinks that something is going to explode. There's a gas leak. There's a break-in. Yeah. Mom thinks worst case scenario, but she really believes it. She will express it. She will say it.
And we love our parents dearly, but this is what they've created.
I know. And I really want... And I try really hard. I don't want Ophelia to feel the anxieties that I feel.
Yeah.
And I don't want her to be scared of life. I feel that I am scared of life sometimes. I am scared to leave my house. I honestly
Health anxiety.
I'm very afraid of men. I have a thing with men. I don't like men.
I can't walk in Toronto anymore.
As a woman, with my own personal experiences, I'm scared of men. But, like, I tell Luca, because he wants to travel. He wants to go to places like Egypt. And listen, I would love to go to Egypt, but there's just too much danger, especially for a woman. And, like, Africa, like, I'm talking, like, the safari. Like, I know Egypt is in Africa, but, like, I'm talking, like, safari Africa.
An African lion safari.
Which I would love to do too, but I think my anxiety and my fears would get in the way and would ruin it for me. So I always say to Luca, one day you can go with Ophelia and you guys can do it together and have an amazing time, and I'll be here for you when you get back. You know what I mean? Waiting. I don't want to put my anxieties onto her. I want her to live her best life.
Yeah.
And not be afraid of anything. I want her to be smart and to be safe, but not afraid or anxious about things.
See, I think that's why I probably won't have a kid, is because I know I will project. I can't help it.
It is a daily effort.
I bet.
My reactions to things. I don't want her to see me like, I really work hard day to day. I work hard of like, okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
You're fine. You know? Like, Even though inside I'm screaming.
Yeah.
I want the vibes to be
Calm
at all times.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know how we got here either, honestly. We're talking about Beetlejuice. Okay. I feel like I black out.
This is why we podcast.
Okay, but we're only on like the first quarter of both two sheets. Okay.
It's already been an hour.
No way. Yes. Okay, last trending topic. Anne Hathaway doesn't want there to be a Devil Wears Prada sequel. It has been offered to them.
Why would there be?
She told E! News that she'd rather make something else with those co-stars.
Agreed.
And it's interesting because there is a follow-up book. There is a book 2 for Devil Wears Prada. It's called Revenge Wears Prada. So they do have material to make a second movie. It's not like they'd be pulling out plots from their ass. Like, they actually do have a second novel. And she said, like, no, I'm over it. Which, honestly, fine.
I have a question.
Okay.
Who was the real villain in that movie?
The boyfriend.
Agreed.
He was so unsupportive.
Period. Point blank.
She got what she wanted. Like, she's always wanted a job like that. She was enjoying herself. Yeah, it was toxic. But, like, have those conversations and don't be an ass about it.
The boyfriend was the villain.
He was like, what are you wearing? And, like...
The boyfriend was the villain.
She changed her hair and he hated it. Like, come on. Get over it.
I can't.
I know, it makes me mad.
There's no explanation. Watch the movie.
Yeah.
The boyfriend is the clear villain.
Toxic. He's more toxic than Miranda.
Extremely toxic.
Yeah.
At least Miranda's consistent.
Yeah.
Listen, I value consistency in people.
Yeah.
So if you're consistently an asshole, at least you're consistent, honey. I want to know what I'm dealing with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And day-to-day life, I want to know what to expect.
Right.
So if you're consistent in any way, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, here are some weird jobs that don't exist anymore. The first one is the knocker-upper, which isn't what it sounds like.
Right.
It's not what it sounds like.
Okay.
It's not someone impregnating everybody.
Yeah.
Because that's a different word. There's a different word for that.
I'm aware.
Right. Okay, so knocker-uppers, and we'll put some photos on the screen if you're a visual watcher because these jobs are very interesting. So they were responsible for waking people up by making loud noises before electronic alarm clocks existed. So people in the 1800s would hire this person and they would come outside their window in the morning when they wanted to wake up and they would either throw peas at the glass or they would tap with a pole on their window, or they would stand there and yell the person's name, which I feel like for the other people in the village would be very unnecessary and very irritating, unless they're all getting up at the same time. Could you imagine, like, your neighbor has a knocker-upper that they hired, and they're like, Tom! Like, just screaming at, like, 6 in the morning. I'd throw peas at them.
Yeah.
They get a pole in the head. Irritating.
Makes sense.
Irritating.
Irritating.
That's how our Poppy says irritating. He's from the islands.
Yeah.
The next one, I don't know how to pronounce this. A phrenologist. So they specialized in studying the human brain based on the size and shape of a person's head. So they thought the bigger your head, the smarter you are. So they would have people into their office and they would measure their skull. And they'd be like, you're really smart or you're not very smart if you had a small head. And they actually believed this theory. They'd have all these devices to go around your head and check. And then obviously neuroscientists have disproved this, which is why this job doesn't exist anymore, because it's not about the size of your head at all.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
Some people with very small heads and brains are very smart.
Mm-hmm.
Think about mice. Their brains are like this big.
I was just thinking.
And they're really smart.
I mean, I wasn't really thinking about mice. I was thinking like ants. Like ants.
I don't
get
think ants
shit
have
done.
brains.
How do you not have a? How do they not have?
Don't
brains?
they not have brains? Don't they just like function? They don't.
Function?
Don't they just like go what they're after? And it's like really
Ew.
creepy. Aren't they like?
What are you, The Grudge?
Because all they want is food and like.
Oh my god! Speaking of The Grudge, I watched a video of how she got like her getting her makeup done and like her getting her costume on, and it was like a 6-hour thing.
Yeah, that's what happens on most movie sets.
And everything on her is fake. Her fingertips are fake. Her nose is fake. Her ears are fake. Everything's prosthetics.
Imagine being the actor who plays The Grudge and looking at yourself in the mirror.
Completely different.
I would scare myself.
Yeah.
And like Samara from The Ring, do you think she ever like actually looks at herself with her head down and like her eyes up like that? Do you think she tries to scare herself?
And have you seen what the actress looks like? She seems so cute.
Yeah, I know. And they totally transform her.
Yeah.
But like everyone's looked in the mirror and has tried to scare themselves.
Why do you always bring this up?
Because I'm
I feel like,
perplexed.
are you insecure about that fact about yourself? Because you bring it up a lot.
Because am I crazy?
Do you still do it? That's the question.
Do you know what I'll do if I'm crying?
Will you smile?
No. Will you?
Sometimes I try, because I try to like convince myself that I'm okay.
No,
like Cassie from Euphoria.
Oh yeah, she's like. No, sometimes if I've just cried, I'll go up to the mirror, and I'll just look at myself, and I'll look at.
I feel like that most people do that. It's a way of processing your emotions.
Yeah, I thought it was weird. I thought I was the only one.
People do it in movies all the time. You see how like it's like a way of like having a moment with yourself.
Yeah, I'll just look at my eyes and my red blotched face and wonder how I got there. I just have a moment in the mirror.
Wow.
Sometimes I even take a picture of myself because I want to remember the absolute torture that I had been through, which made me cry. Like after I had my wisdom teeth out and I was crying every day because of the pain, sometimes I take a picture and be like, I can look back on this like 2 years from now and be like, wow, that sucked. And I have proof. Like, I don't put it anywhere. Like, you know those people who, like, take photos of themselves
proof.
and then post it on social media? That's a little weird.
Gen Z.
But, like, I definitely might have an album in my phone of, like, my crying faces. Is that weird? Maybe. Anyway.
No comment.
Okay. The next weird job is a billy boy. A billy boy was a young person tasked with making tea for people working at railway yards, blacksmiths, and building sites. So they would be working and they'd be like, Billy boy! And then someone would come over with tea. Imagine having that job. Like, your only task is to make tea.
Billy boy!
Billy boy! Then he just... Where's he getting it from? It's not like they had Starbucks.
He had to be on the ready at all times.
That's the version. That's like Anne Hathaway from Miranda Lambert in Devil Wears Prada.
She was her Billy boy.
Yeah, literally. Except she'd bring steak and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants steak in the middle of the day in an office building? I'm sorry. She had a steak this thick.
Miranda does.
I feel like if you were living back then, you'd want to be this one. A herb strewer. In the 16th and 17th centuries, a herb strewer placed fresh herbs inside and around a castle or palace to reduce the odors. The job became unnecessary when perfumes were invented and plumbing and sewage systems became more advanced. So someone would just go around with flowers and really fresh smelling plants to put all around the castle to make it smell and look nice.
You know, I was hanging out in Mom's bedroom the other day and I was admiring her plants, and it really made me wish that I could take care of my plants better. I don't really have any more plants because they would all die and shrivel up, and I wasn't giving them water.
I thought you were a good plant mom, which is why I would come to you and ask
advice. I think
advice.
if I made effort, I think it's just laziness.
But you don't have plants anymore.
No, I have one plant that's slowly dying.
That's depressing.
Yeah, anyway, I was looking at her plants and it made me think, you know, like maybe in the new house,
You'll have plants.
maybe I'll have nice big plants that help with oxygen in the house.
Right.
It really changes the vibe.
Everyone needs more oxygen.
Makes
I need more
it's a
oxygen.
calming effect. Mom's bedroom is very calming, I find.
Yeah, it is. It's very calming. Nothing has changed.
A lot has changed.
No, like, in
actually.
the best
I walked
way.
in there
No, I
and,
mean, like even,
all of her furniture is different.
Even though the furniture is different, the same energy and vibe is in that room.
I think they also repainted.
Okay, whatever. You know what I mean? You're like, everything's different.
I think now it's calming because it's like earth tones and it's like plants.
Okay.
Anyway,
the next job is a toad doctor.
We still haven't gotten to the Appalachian yet.
I know. Can we even
Are we
title
gonna
it
be
that?
okay?
Yes.
It's been like an hour.
Okay, I'm almost done. I only have 5 more. Okay, a toad doctor. Toad doctors were care providers who used toads to treat medical ailments. Beginning in the 1600s, medical researchers and doctors believed that toads had healing properties, and they began to use toads in the practice of medicine. So someone had, like, anything wrong with them, they'd have their little bucket of toads, and they would, like, bring it over. And sometimes they were alive, sometimes they were dead, and they would use them to, like, crush toad powder that you can ingest or put on a wound. And they really thought that toads were healing. Like, they really believed it. What? Do you not like these? Should I move on? You think think I should move on?
I don't care.
I'm so interested. Okay, can I do one more?
Yeah.
Because this reminds me of Nightmare Before Christmas. There was a job called the town crier. In medieval England, a town crier informed the
news.
townspeople of the
Yeah.
latest... Yeah, you know how, like, in Nightmare Before Christmas, that guy whose head spins comes out and he, like, yells the news?
Well, it's more Corpse Bride is more the guy who does that. He like
No, are
he
you
yells
thinking...
out.
Yeah, that too. But you know what I'm talking about in
Yeah.
Nightmare, right? He's like the mayor.
It's like news.
Yeah.
Gives news to the town. Yeah, I knew that.
Okay. Well, since you don't want to hear my other three, we'll move on.
I just
I
feel
actually
like
thought these were so interesting. Does no one agree?
we're
Okay.
really
Tiptoeing the line here for time. The rules of Appalachia. So these are rules that many people follow. Literally any website that I went on to look at these rules, they were all the same, listed out. Like people just know these rules by heart.
Is whistling one of them?
Yes.
That one freaks me out. I don't know why. It like makes me want to whistle at night.
Never be in the woods from dusk till dawn. So I guess when you're in there, make sure it's short and sweet. Don't be in there from dusk till dawn. So dusk is like when the sun's setting to when it rises.
So overnight.
Um,
Wait, isn't dusk
like-
right before dawn?
Dawn is when the sun rises, right?
I know, but isn't
Rise.
dusk?
Why did I say it like that? When the sun rises.
Isn't dusk?
It's when the sun's setting.
Okay,
Is
I
it
think
not?
you're right. I think you're right.
Yeah, so I guess don't be overnight in the woods. Which I feel
It's
like...
always the darkest before the dawn.
Right. What's that from?
It's just a fact.
Okay. Next rule.
It's giving pen pal.
Never leave the marked trail. It is marked for a reason.
Ew.
AKA, if you go hiking, stay on the trail. It makes me think of, what's that forest called? Agokiohara Forest in Japan. And they always tell people, like, if you want to go there and hike, it's beautiful. But if you leave the path, you'll see people,
You'll
like,
run
hanging from
into-
trees and stuff.
So crazy that people go there to do that. It's crazy that there's that place specifically.
But you know what? I kind of understand it because forests are very peaceful and calm.
No, I understand the why,
Okay.
but I don't understand that it's that forest in particular. It's not like many forests around the world. That's what people are doing. It's that forest in particular where there's all kinds of dead bodies and dead people everywhere. Like you would
Maybe-
think that any forest. You know what I mean?
But maybe it's the sense of, like, you're going there to end your life where so many others have it. It's
Sense
almost like
of comfort.
a comforting thing that
Maybe.
you know other people were in the same headspace as you, and, like, you're just among
Maybe.
the souls that are... I don't know. I don't know,
Maybe.
honestly. I'm not in that
Maybe
position,
there's no
so-
like wild bears. Going to a forest to be peaceful and knowing that there's no like predators that could like come and eat you.
There's definitely predators in the forest.
Of Japan?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, probably.
have, like,
they have
pandas.
well, pandas aren't predators.
Yes,
they're
are.
vegetarian.
They would
They
hurt
don't
you.
eat meat.
It doesn't matter.
They're
They're
not-
not going to eat you.
I don't think that pandas are vicious, babe.
If you walked up to a panda, what do you think it's going to do to you?
It's just gonna continue eating its bamboo.
No.
It eats bamboo shoots.
I'm pretty sure. They're bears, Mandii.
But they're not vicious. They're not predators.
But you realize bears don't attack you to eat you. Like, if you're out...
A lot of them do. If you're
No.
hungry.
A lot of them attack because they're scared of seeing you.
Or
Or they
they're
want to
hungry.
protect their young.
Or they're hungry.
Well, maybe polar bears feel that way. But, like,
Oh, polar bears? No chance.
Polar bears?
No chance in life. You will die.
that's what I mean. But that's that.
Polar bear? Forget it. You know what they say? If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lie down. If it's white, good night.
There's no way, Mandii, if I see a bear, then I'm going to be lying down in front of it. Like, here, eat me. I'm your meal. Like,
no,
I'm
play
plating
dead.
myself.
Play dead. A grizzly bear? What are you going to do?
Isn't
Run?
it? If it's brown, flush it down.
If it's yellow, let,
Let
it
it
mellow.
mellow.
If it's brown,
Wow,
flush it
why are
down.
there so many riddles?
Well, they're sayings.
Right.
I like it.
The next rule. If you hear voices close to you, they're far away. But if the voices are far away, then they're near you, which is really creepy. It's kind of to trick you, right? So if there is some weird entity in the forest, if it sounds far away, it's right there. Which is kind of creepy. If it sounds close, it's far away. It also says that if the voices are saying your name, don't answer them.
Reminds me of the bog.
What's the bog?
That evil being in Akatar. That's like the mist. Isn't it the bog?
I don't remember.
I'm wearing an Akatar shirt.
You are.
gave me
I got
this.
that for you. It's green. It looks good with your hair.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you hear your name being said in the forest, never answer. Never go towards it. Never say, hey, that's me. What's up? Like, never answer it.
Ignore
Ignore it.
Ignore.
That's honestly the rules for most of this stuff. If you see or
Ignore.
hear anything weird in the Appalachians, ignore, walk away, don't put any thought into it.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of there. Don't whistle or sing in the woods.
Don't sing?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm pretty sure it's not just in the woods. Many cultures, they say don't whistle at night. Don't ever whistle in your house at night.
Yeah, it's
it's
worse in
dark.
the woods, though, I think, because that's where the creatures live, right?
But in general, though, at night.
Well,
Don't
haven't you
whistle.
seen, like, those TikToks of people who, like, live on the edge of the forest?
Yes.
And they show out their window, and you can
Yes.
see the entrance to the forest,
Yes.
and they say, like, close your curtains,
I
like,
love
stay
those
inside.
videos. I love those videos.
they're interesting, but also, like, I don't know how they do it. I love forests. Like, I've had houses that back onto forests, but they're not the Appalachians. Like, the Appalachians have history.
It's cool.
Would you want to hike there ever? I don't know.
I don't know if I'd hike there, but I would not mind renting an Airbnb on the edge. Wouldn't
But
that
then
be
you have to
fun?
sleep there.
Yeah, you and me.
You and me.
Yeah.
Um,
We can film a podcast there. You and me, Ty and Luca.
okay, I'm
Bring
down.
our dogs. We'll bring our dogs.
Where are the Appalachians?
Wait, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe they'll be like skinwalkers. and
Wait,
we don't
we're
know.
close to the Appalachian Mountains, are we not?
No.
Dude, we are.
No, I'm pretty sure. Aren't they west?
I'm so curious because I thought I've looked
Just
this up
Google-
before.
Just Google Maps it.
Between Newfoundland and Alabama.
Whoa. So they're like right under?
Dude, they're
East,
right by us. Okay.
South?
So, yeah, these are the mountain range is really close.
Whoa, we should go.
I knew they were close to us.
New Hampshire?
We'd have to look at it after, but I think we just have to go through New York and then we get there. Okay.
That's cool.
Never look too hard into the trees. You might not like what you see.
Oh, I'm always staring into the trees.
Me too.
And I
looking
always
for
see little shapes and
eyes. Well, owls are in there. That's the other thing. Like, apparently these things that are in the forest, and we're not supposed to
Skinwalkers.
say, I was going to say, you're not supposed to say the name.
why?
A lot of, like, Native Americans, like, people in that culture have come out and said that, like, don't say the name.
Why?
Apparently it kind of draws it to you.
Isn't that anything in life? It's like manifesting.
I don't believe in manifesting.
Anything that is spoken about is like bringing it
You're
to life.
calling it to you.
Anything you're focusing on too much is like giving it life and power.
Yeah.
You don't believe in that?
I guess. Yeah. I guess so.
I don't.
I don't believe
I
in
don't-
manifesting, though. Like, I don't believe...
Really?
Manifesting is not of God.
That doesn't mean you don't believe in it. Like that it works. Like
Like
to
a
me,
placebo?
Well, no, like to me it's like I believe that it works, but I don't do it because I don't think it's of God. It's,
So
you know what I
believe
mean?
in the
Yes,
practice
I believe
of
that
it.
it works. Yes.
I don't even know if I believe it works, Mandii. I don't know.
Wow.
I haven't thought
Okay.
too deeply about it. I just know that I don't do it.
Yeah.
And I think that when you do that, not only is you're bringing in good, you're also bringing in evil.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow. That reminds me. Next week, we should talk about Taylor Swift. Because there's a lot.
Why? Again?
She
Wait, we should
is-
talk about the Illuminati.
I think we should talk about the Illuminati. Taylor Swift is definitely related to, I think it's Anton LaVey's wife, I think it was, the blonde lady in the Satanist church.
Oh.
They are identical. They are identical. And think of all the things that Taylor Swift does. She has that weird, creepy ritual thing that she's been doing on her, like, Eras tour. She's, like, cloaked.
Yeah.
She's, like, cloaked.
Let's not spoil it.
Okay, there's so much to talk about.
Why do you think it's called the Illuminati? Naughty. Because it's bad.
Okay, Jess.
Make sure you completely seal your tent at night.
Ah.
And if you want to sleep outside of your tent, make sure you have a fire that will burn all night
Who
long.
is sleeping in that place?
A lot
Who
of
is sleeping there?
people. A lot of people.
Camping in the Appalachians?
But also the Appalachians. um, that's probably how it's actually supposed to be
I
said.
don't know.
Who's sleeping outside of their tent? Let alone where you are. Who sleeps outside of their tent? Mosquitoes
Some people choose
and
to
then
do
the bears will see you.
that. Mm-mm.
But then you'll look dead. I guess if that helps.
Mm.
I'm inside that tent. What's even better would be a trailer. Glamping.
Or a yurt.
Or one of those like bubble things.
Oh, a dome.
A dome, yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't like travel with a dome.
No.
Or a yurt.
No. You rent them.
It's a yurt in your backpack.
You rent them.
Okay. And lastly, this one's actually really bizarre. If you see half a deer lying on the ground, run as far away as you can.
Why? Half a deer.
I don't know. Because you must wonder, like, if an animal's going to kill a deer, they'd take the whole thing.
They'd eat it.
Why would they leave one half? Maybe it's like a symbol of like, or a warning or something. I don't know.
Are you ready for your riddles?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so Mandii.
That's how we're ending it off.
Last week we did the psychopath test on Mandii. So now Mandi's found, was it three? Three riddles
for you.
me.
For you.
Two for you, Glen Coco. Or is it 3?
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
A husband was called by the police telling him that his wife was killed and that he should get to the crime scene as soon as possible. Shocked, the husband dropped the phone and drove to the crime scene in 20 minutes, where he was arrested and charged for murder. How did the police know it was him?
Is it something to do with the phone?
No.
Okay, say it again.
A husband was called by the police telling him that his wife was killed and that he should get to the crime scene as soon as possible. Shocked, the husband dropped the phone and drove to the crime scene in 20 minutes, where he was arrested and charged for murder.
Because how would he know where the crime scene was?
That's right.
He drove right to the crime scene.
The police told him to get to the crime scene, but they didn't specify where.
No, and he just went.
The husband couldn't have known where the crime scene was unless he'd been there when the wife was dead or dying.
Yeah. Okay.
Good job.
Yeah, it took me a second.
This is a riddle. A true riddle. It is hard for me to live, but easy to die. I'm only present when I am not given away. Many people know about me, but not what I am. You can keep me, but it is hard. What am I?
I have no idea, Mandii. A secret?
Yes! You're so smart.
Wow, okay.
You're so smart. Remember that little teddy bear?
Yeah, we had a teddy bear that said that.
Wow, you're so smart. Last one. Imagine you're in a box.
Okay.
It's airtight sealed. You have nothing with you. How do you get out?
Wouldn't I be dead? Because it's airtight. I would die.
How do you get out?
You can't. Say it again?
Imagine you're in a box.
Yeah.
It's airtight sealed.
Mm-hmm.
You have nothing with you. How do you get out?
I guess you don't is not an answer. Wouldn't you die? What is it?
Stop imagining.
What the hell? That's so stupid.
I think it's terrific.
Because maybe it means because you're dead. So you can't even imagine.
Stop imagining. It starts with imagine you're in a box.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a trick one, though.
Of course, it's a riddle. They're all tricks.
Okay, so am I a psychopath?
I tried to look specifically for psychopath, and it kept coming up the ones you took, and then the ones that were already on Shane Dawson's podcast. And the ones that he had on his podcast are really well known. They're like everywhere.
Oh, okay.
So this was hard, but
Okay, that was fun.
yeah,
I can't believe I got the riddle.
you got all of them kind of almost, except for the last one.
Yeah. Anyways, guys. So next week, well, not next week, 2 weeks from now, because we're skipping next week.
Yeah.
We'll do like the Illuminati,
Yeah.
like stuff in the entertainment industry.
Ooh.
Hopefully we don't disappear.
Well, if Shane Dawson hasn't disappeared yet, I think we're good.
Yeah, I don't know how he's still kicking. Because he tells all the dirty deets.
Brave.
Yeah.
That guy is brave.
Anyways, if you want to check out our Patreon video about our creepy or strange camping stories, along with, we're going to be posting the week that we're gone, we're posting a behind the scenes of the podcast. So how we set up our podcast room, all the details about like behind the scenes, which is really cool. So if you want to be a patron, link down below, and we will see you guys soon. Have a great Easter.
Have a great Easter,
Have fun.
guys.
He has risen.
He has risen. Death could not hold him.
And yeah, have a good rest of your day. We'll see you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye.